Hi, I'm Anne Marie, and thank you so much for joining me today. Remember that if you are not able to listen or watch the video today, you can always go to the archives and watch it later. YouTube is also able to be seen later, and today is the third Wednesday of the month, and that is my day for Annie's Angels. Now, one of the angels I want to introduce you to goes back to my old days when I used to go to this awesome coffee house called Abner Bell's. And there was this gal standing behind the counter. You know how when they say cheers, everybody knows your name? She always knew everybody's name. It was pretty amazing. And it was only about 2 times that I was there, and she knew my name. And she was the kind of farm style, warm love that made you want to go back and back and back and back for coffee. And anyway, I got to know her through the years, and she has grown to be like a sister to me. But I have also seen her go through a lot of changes, and one of them is gluten. And I am one of those people, I know, probably like some of you, that go, okay, we have the paleo diet, we've got the South Beach diet, now we've got the gluten-free diet. But it wasn't until I listened to Karen's story that I realized how serious this was. And it wasn't just about getting skinny at all. It was about real results and from real catastrophes. So with that, I'm going to introduce you to Karen James. And she is the also the producer of Salted Grace. Hey, Karen, how are you today?
Good. How are you? Thanks for the kind words.
Oh, well, you deserve them. And I always say that you made my transition to coffee and Storm Lake, Iowa, as something that was a lot more comfortable and doable. So anyway, Karen, tell me, what is with the changes that happen to your body? I want to start without what is gluten?
Gluten is the protein in wheat, barley, and rye that makes your bread dough elastic, so it rises. That's due to yeast, but it makes your bread dough the softness that it gives it.
Okay.
And it doesn't like my body.
Well, how did you discover that there were issues with you?
I came down with a rash on my neck, and this was about 2.5 years ago. And I could not get rid of it. No matter what I tried, it was there, and it kept getting worse and spreading. So I did the Google search for a rash on neck, and everything that looked like my rash said gluten rash, gluten
I
rash.
wonder I wonder if
So I
Bill
did.
would. Okay, let me just a minute. Bill, could you now it started with your hands, didn't it?
The first time was on my neck. The most recent times have been on my hands, and it's
Okay,
probably worse on my hands than my neck at times.
why don't we start out with do you have picture 5, Bill? That would be of her neck. What happened? This is the rash that you had. Now tell me what happened. How did you start feeling? And
It itches very badly.
how did you know that it was gluten related? What were your symptoms? Did you eat something the night before? Were you starting to notice that it happened at a certain time when you ate certain things, or what?
Well, this first time I had it, I eat gluten every day. The first time I came down with the rash. After finding and searching that this type of rash that looked like what was on my neck could be caused from gluten, I did stop gluten. I stopped all pastas, I stopped all bread, all cookies, anything that is your most common gluten items. And the rash did start to get better.
And it's called a gluten rash.
Yes, that's the common terms for it.
So when you get a gluten, so is it itchy? How would
It's
someone
very
know? Like,
itchy. It's very itchy. When I do get it on my hands, it reacts a little bit differently than on my neck. When I get it on my hands, it starts off with a tingling sensation, and then it kind of goes a little numb, and then it just starts itching like crazy. And once that itching starts, the blisters start to form within minutes. You can just see them starting to pop out.
Okay, Bill, could we have picture number 1? So this is when you started to get it between your fingers then first?
Yeah. Yes, and this is probably after a couple days. This picture is after the blisters have popped, and actually this is starting to heal. Once the blisters pop and it starts to dry and crack, that is actually the beginning of the healing stages. But that can take a long time to heal.
Well, so, okay, Bill, could you do picture number 2, please? So when you started to get this, was this also in your healing stage, or what was this?
Yes, that's still in the healing stages. That's after the blisters, where you can see where the dark redder spots are. That's
Yeah.
where like actual blisters were. Then to heal, it scabs and the skin peels, and it'll peel several times before I actually get my normal skin back. It takes a good 2 to 3 weeks for my skin to get back to normal, but it does take up to 3 months for gluten to get out of my body before I feel like I'm back to normal.
So then you have to be really, really strict during this time with your diet, correct?
Yes, I have to be strict with my diet every day, every moment. Nothing goes in my mouth without me reading the ingredients.
So you even gave me a frying pan that you said you were having problems with. Now, what was the deal with that?
When you have old frying pans, sometimes they can have the scratches, little tiny scratches on them.
Mm-hmm.
If you've used that frying pan for a pasta dish that you baked in it, no matter
Mm-hmm.
how many times you wash it, gluten can still stay stuck in those little tiny scratches.
Now,
It doesn't matter
you
if you put
told
it through the dishwasher.
you told me when I looked at you and I said, well, how does HMOs or GMOs, how do GMOs go into all that? And you said they don't. There's something like that. I can't remember. It's like I don't know.
GMOs are actually something totally different than gluten. That is genetically modified gluten or wheat. So that does make a difference because the wheat we eat today is not the wheat of ancient times, the wheat that they used years ago, because they are modifying it so it produces more and produces better.
So this is where I get all confused because the GMOs that everybody's making a big deal about always seem to fall into the same people that talk about gluten. But what you're saying is that GMOs are not related, that it's a totally different thing.
Not
And
necessarily.
see, that's where I get all
Not
messed up.
necessarily. Yeah, GMOs are something different than gluten, but it's the processes of the wheat that makes it more difficult for our bodies to digest.
Okay. So after you discovered your issues, you also found out that your husband was having a lot of issues that were similar, right?
Yes, he's had issues for years, and he was tested for gluten before I realized that I had gluten issues, and his test came back negative for gluten. After myself dealing with the gluten issues, I started to suspect that a lot of his issues are due to gluten also. And then that comes in denial. Everybody that finds out they have a gluten issue goes through a denial phase that they just can't believe that they're having issues with gluten. I've eaten it all my
Because
life. Can't.
why would it happen? Yeah, exactly. Why now? Why all of a sudden? And that's why a lot of people go, well, how can this be? Gluten-free diet, and everybody's like scratching their head, going, they've been eating spaghetti for years and they never had a problem, and now they're having a problem with eating my spaghetti. And so, but it can happen at any time, right?
Yes, it can. Yep. It can happen at any time. It
Like an
can be
allergy.
hereditary. Yes.
Did your father ever have these problems? He did.
I honestly don't know. I do suspect that one of my parents did have it, if not both, just for the fact that my mom would often itch her hands for no reason, and my dad often had sores on his legs for no reason. So do I know whether they had it or not? I have no idea. But I suspect that one of them, if not both of them, had some issues.
Nobody talked about gluten back in those days, so they wouldn't know.
Nope, they didn't.
So what what is cross-contamination?
Cross-contamination would be, let's say you decided you wanted to make me some gluten-free cake. So you buy a gluten-free cake mix and you bake that cake in your pan that you have baked lasagna in, and you've baked your own cakes in, and whatever pasta casserole or whatever that you've used that pan before. If you bake that gluten-free cake mix in that pan, there's chances that it can be cross-contaminated from, like, same with your frying pan, the scratches in it. Or let's say you're making me a gluten-free recipe from scratch, and you bought some gluten-free flour for me, and you dig into, let's say, the sugar. You need to add the sugar. You've used your cup in your regular flour mixture, and then you go to add it to scoop the same cup with the sugar. That's cross-contaminated because now you have your regular flour inside your sugar. It takes very, very little to get for me to break out. Cross-contamination can be...
Which is why it's so hard for you to go out to eat, right?
Yes. An example would be going out to eat is French fries. Potatoes are gluten-free. But if the French fries at a restaurant are fried in the same oil as your breaded cheese sticks, your breaded mushrooms, my French fries are now cross-contaminated because they have the chance of having the breadcrumbs from the other items on them.
Wow. So
it's very tricky.
My picture is frozen. I think I'm having a gluten attack because my picture just froze.
And I'm in slow motion.
Yeah. So I look very perplexed. It's if I so if I you know, I know you said that sometimes it can be very frustrating when you're around other people that don't understand why you have to be so careful. And I imagine a lot like what anybody goes through when they have a huge diet change. Somebody all of a sudden goes in to get gastric surgery, and suddenly they can only eat tablespoons instead of huge amounts of food at the buffet. Or in your case, you can't eat anything because at least with going out to eat in a casual setting, because it's too much cross-contamination. How do you know you can trust people that say that they are serving you gluten-free food if you know that possibly, they're not serving you the gluten, but they're serving you the same pan that they cooked things in, right? For other people.
Correct. I always tell people I don't do this to be rude, but I cannot take the chance. There's a couple people out there I thoroughly trust to cook me something gluten-free, because I know they will clean everything in their house. They will not have flour in the area when they make me something. They will wash their counters 2 or 3 times before they even begin to make me something. But I just tell them I don't mean to offend them, but I just cannot take the chance. With it taking 3 months for me to
Right.
heal from a gluten outbreak, I just can't do it. It's the worst itching rash you'll
And I
ever have.
wow. And is it painful?
Yes, it can be painful, especially when it
Is
gets
it
to that
painful?
cracked stage.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to have you explain, um, you know, is gluten free? Well, basically, you've already said so, but why don't you give some tips on how it can heal faster? I'm going to log off and log on and get a moving face again. Okay? So that we're going to give
Okay.
you full screen here. Mr. Bill, give her a full face. Mr. Bill, are you out there? There you go. So, if, maybe you could explain that, and I'm going to log off and log on. Go ahead. Tips
Um,
and
tip,
maybe some recipes.
tips on for me to heal faster. The best thing for me to do is to get the gluten out of my body as fast as possible. The longer it sits in my body, the worse reactions I'm going to have and the longer it's going to take for me to heal. So I need to eliminate that from my body. And by doing that, I do take supplements that help me go to the bathroom better. I do kind of like a fasting, I would say, where I will only eat fruits, vegetables, and smoothies for 2 or 3 days until I feel like I'm back to normal with my digestion. Lots of liquids. Those are my main tips. Also, I will use essential oils on my skin. I will try to make my pH balance in my body more alkaline. I can do that by taking some supplements or by drinking lemon water, apple cider vinegar. Other ways that I heal myself is I do use, and also this soothes with the blistering part, is I will use a salt pillow that I have had in the freezer and put that on my hands when they first start, because that does reduce the blistering a little bit. That coldness is very soothing when the rash starts.
I bet. I bet. So, if you were, I remember when I was at your house, you were doing cooking with an air fryer,
Yes.
right?
Yes. I can
And
now
I
have fried
really
chicken.
enjoyed that. I thought that, yeah. And so, would you say that an air fryer is one of those things that gluten-free diets can be benefited by?
I think so, because it does truly make, and it amazed me, it does truly make the food that you cook in there crispy. Of course,
Okay.
you got to use your gluten-free flours and stuff, but yes, I do like the air fryer. You stay away from the grease that way, and it's healthier for you.
And if you are going to use grease, what kind of grease do you use? Maybe you already told him, but I'd like to know that myself.
Um, for my husband, he's more sensitive than me, so like if I'm baking anything that's gluten-free and it requires oil, I use grapeseed oil for him. I myself can have any kind of oil; it does not affect me.
It
So,
doesn't.
um, nope, oil doesn't affect me.
So, would you say that this has also helped you lose a lot of weight?
Yes, it has. Um, but just because you're gluten free doesn't mean you can always eat healthy. I do not buy a lot of pre made gluten free products. Actually, I don't think I buy anything that's pre made gluten free. Rarely do I.
Really?
Um,
Why?
yeah, I'll buy some mixes,
Why?
the flour mixes, the flours that are pre mixed, because they still have all that chemicals and other bad stuff in them, the pre made products. I prefer to go all natural as possible. Does that mean I don't eat junk food? Yeah, I eat junk foods. I love my potato chips. I love my cookies, but I prefer to make them
Well, I was
myself instead of buying them
asking.
already made.
Right. Yeah, and I noticed that there is free or not Fritos, corn chips. You were eating corn tostadas, and that is something that kind of goes against some of the rules that so many people are saying. Oh, corn bad. All corn is bad, but you told me it is not.
Corn is not gluten. Corn is not gluten. The main gluten ones are wheat, barley, and rye.
Well, I wonder why then um, there is so, but corn, wouldn't that be something that would also be planted with a genetically altered seed, correct? It would mean that it's not the same as the days of antiquity either, correct?
You're probably correct on that, but it's not gluten, so I can eat corn.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, would that be the same for a lot of people or just for you in
Everybody
a
is going to
gluten
be
free?
completely different.
I see.
Some people
I
are
see.
affected by dairy. Some people can be affected by corn. Some people that eat gluten free don't eat any grains whatsoever. So it's all up to your own body and how you react, how your body is reacting to it. I myself, since having these gluten issues, have also come down with a nutmeg allergy. I cannot have any nutmeg. It's almost as bad as gluten.
Really?
Yes,
Tell me about the
I
salt
still get
lamp.
a
Tell me
rash.
about the salt. Tell me about the salt lamps behind you. I think they're so
Oh,
beautiful.
thank you. That's one of the products I sell through my Salted Grace. They are very relaxing, very soothing, and they also balance out the positive ions that all of our electronics give off that aren't good for us. So they give off negative ions, which is what we need to balance ourselves.
And I have purchased several from you, and I love them. I actually did feel, and this is going to kill you. My cats feel the difference since I've had the salt lamps in my studio, because my cat, if the salt lamp isn't on, he looks around like something's just not right here, Mom. And then when I turn it back on, after about an hour, he's like, okay, it's all good now. So I figure if my cats are doing that and they don't know what a salt lamp is, then by gosh, I would say that a human being has got to be experiencing the same thing, right? Now,
Exactly, and that does not surprise me.
I also have some of your products. The one that I like a lot is what is it called?
Veggie Blast
Veggie,
salt.
Veggie Blast. Yeah. I used that in my Chinese food last night with vegetables. And I've used well, name some of them because I think they're very intriguing.
Let me get my list here because I don't even know if I have them. I I know I have one for chicken. Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you
Yep, I
exactly what
have
I
that
named them.
one.
This is something new I knew I just started with, making my own seasoning blends with pink Himalayan salt. So I know I have a chicken one, I have a beef one, I have the vegetable one. I believe there's a barbecue one,
Yes, there is.
a pork one,
Mhm.
and I'm not for sure. I think I've came up with 6 of them. And then I have an all seasoning one that I do too that would be similar to your Lowry's salt.
Mhm.
But it'll have pink Himalayan, made with pink Himalayan salt instead of your regular salt.
So, Karen, how does a down home farm girl turn into a spiritualist like you?
I have no idea.
It's kind
I
of
never
like
thought
a
I'd be this way.
transformation. Here
Quite
you
different
are
from the person
surrounded
you
by
first
salt
met.
lamps and gluten. But, I would say that the most intriguing thing about all of this is that when I was staying with Karen. Her sister brought me over there. I have a tendency to get inflammation sometimes. And I noticed that after being on I felt like I was on a gluten-free retreat. Muffins were different, everything was different, and but by gosh, I felt the inflammation in my body left, and I thought that was really intriguing. That perhaps a lot of this is also very complementary to people who may have inflammation in their joints, arthritis, things that can be also maybe, who knows, triggered by gluten. Who knows what all the repercussions, all the different things that are being affected by, gluten, and we don't even think about it. We just accept it, and we go to the pharmacy and we get piles and piles of aspirin and Fix-Its. And how interesting to see that after a weekend at your beautiful home, I was able to feel less inflammation in my joints, and as well, and I think I'll never forget what Linda said, but
What'd she say?
she says, every time I leave Karen's, I can poop a lot better. So, so I don't know.
Sorry, Linda.
She's probably killing me right now, but I think
You got to get it out of your body.
yeah. Well, I think that there's just a lot of you know, first of all, we live in a society where poop is talked about all the time now, so I don't feel so bad saying that word. But the thing is, um, sorry, Linda, but it's also just the feeling that my inflammation went much calmer. She was much calmer. You are having much better results. Jeff is having better results. How can anyone not take seriously the fact that we finally are living in a society where what we eat is taking its toll on our bodies? And no wonder, who knows whether you're 18 or you're 38 or you're 48 or you're 88, at some point your body finally says, I can't take it anymore. And then it just breaks out. And so I'm going to have Bill one more time go through the pictures. The first picture, if you guys are experiencing any of these symptoms like Karen, Mr. Bill, how about that? Those little things. My husband gets these things, the rashes between his fingers. And he's one of these guys that will demolish bags of potato chips and things like that in one sitting. So, and number two, looking if you have sores like this that are healing, then cracking, and healing, then cracking, maybe you need to take her a little more serious. Number three, Mr. Bill, and look at this. I don't even see
Look
this
at that
as your
swollen hand.
Oh my gosh, your hand. And that's
Now
a
looking at
gluten.
that picture, yes, that's inflammation and swelling in my hand. And I'll tell you, one of the ways I can tell the gluten is almost out of my body is when I can get my wedding ring back on.
Wow.
It's still a little tight. Last time I was glutened was the weekend after Valentine's Day. And I believe it was from flavored potato chips that have been cross-contaminated. But I could get my wedding ring on, but it's still a little tight. So that was the middle of February, and I'm still suffering just a little bit.
And you have very pretty hands. So I don't know whose hand this is, but if it's yours.
I know it. I can't believe that's my hand either.
And number four, Mr. Bill, please. This was your arm. This would be the gluten rash.
This one is actually a combination of my nutmeg allergy and gluten both.
Wow.
It's like a high-like reaction.
And the last one was number five, your neck. And you can see the little breakout points, the little pimples or whatever that is.
Yep.
And those pop open, and then you start to itch, and hello, gluten rash.
Yes. It's a horrible itching, horrible itching. I just can't explain how bad it is. You can't not control it because you have to itch it.
Wow. Well,
It takes
you know
lots of
what,
control.
Karen, thank you so much for being with us today. And I told you that I just put you under the spotlight for half an hour, and I'll be true to my word. So I do want to say that if anyone wants to contact Karen for some of more tips or for some more about her products, where can they contact you, Karen?
www.facebook.com/Salted Grace. So just search Facebook for Salted Grace and I'll be there.
And she'll be there, and she'll give you the same kind of farm style love she gives everybody else. So, Karen, you, and thank you for being with us. Yeah. See you later, girlfriend. Bye bye.
Okay, love you.
Bye. All right. Thank you so much. And for those of you that may be experiencing what Karen has been talking about, I know there's a lot of people out there that are walking around thinking that they have rashes that are related to cold weather. And maybe there is some of that, but this happened to Karen in the summer. So I know that there are things out there that get people from this, from their diets, and we don't even think about it because so much of us think that if we just endure and we put a stiff upper lip, when we could be changing our diet. But hey, not all of us have that discipline. I understand that. It's a hard one for some of us. And I know for me, coffee, going without coffee is a heartbreaker. So I'm going to tell you that anybody that wants to have a reading today, my call-in number today is 602 666 6027. That's 602 666 6027. And I will be glad to give you a reading. Um, if I look at, I was really looking at some very interesting word, um, what was it? How good are you with your spiritual jargon? There are certain words that people say, and I wish that I could find that, but I did not write it down. But if you have a chance, go into Oprah.com. Sometimes spiritual jargon, if you're a psychic reader and you're like me, you don't always keep up. You're a reader first and foremost, and your job is to excel and to be intuitively channeled into giving angel message readings or anything that will be able to accelerate and give you your clients clarity. But at times, the most important thing is to remember that um, there is a spiritual jargon out there, and you kind of have to keep up because as I remember talking to Bear Medicine Walker, and one of the things I say is your gifts, and she says modalities, or we have to be able to keep up on spiritual modalities, and I'm always intrigued with the fact that each year there are new words to make you current with the spiritual scene. So I'm just, if you get a chance, I'll do it another show. Go to Oprah.com and read up and brush up on your spiritual jargon, authenticity. What is it? All kinds of words that maybe you thought you understood, but really you don't. I'm going to take a call from Renee. Hey, Renee, what's going on today?
Oh, hi. The
Renee,
show was good.
did you experience any of those symptoms at all?
I might have. I have some inflammation sometimes,
Yeah. Do you do
and
anything? Any
uh,
special
I,
diet?
No, I'm going to have to, I think, detox, and some things I'm not going to eat. Still going to eat my favorites, but some stuff I don't think that is really that great for me
I
anymore, and
have,
I don't
I
really
have,
like it.
I have found things like my favorite foods, like cheese and milk and dairy products, cause inflammation. And those are things I love. And to cut them out is very difficult for me. But then on the other hand, I have to ask myself, do I enjoy feeling limber and feeling dexterous, or do I want to walk around going, ouch, ouch, ouch? And if I don't want to go, ouch, 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 then it's important to cut out the foods that I know are not going to help me at all with inflammation. So it's a hard pill to take, to realize that, you have to cut out certain foods.
Well, maybe you should try for milk, Life or almond milk might be better
I
for you.
do. That's what I've gone to. I've gone to almond milk. Yeah, I won't touch milk anymore. Um, it's not only that, it has other symptoms that are just as bad, uh, like a lot of gas and a lot of unpleasant things that do not make you feel very ladylike. But I'm just beyond all that. Would you like a reading today, Miss Renee?
Oh, why not? Let's live
Oh,
dangerously.
live dangerously. Okay, so let's look at what comes up on Renee. If I look at where are you spiritually today, Renee, here's what comes through. There is a sense that today you may feel that there are a few people around you that you wish would give you a little more gratitude. You feel as if you have done your best to kind of space yourself away from them and not necessarily give them that much attention, because you don't want to look like a shrinking violet or somebody that needs to have a compliment. However, there is a feeling that you should not blame yourself if some of the people around you that have not been very grateful. Understand, it says that these people may have insecurities. They may be people that are very blocked themselves, so blocked that they do not even realize the the way they make you feel when you aren't given a thank you when you deserve it, or don't give you a smile or a touch when you need it. They just seem to be so messed up themselves in their own little world that they don't realize the reaction that they're getting from you. Now, if I look at this in more detail, Renee, and it says, at this time, your reading says that you are the warrior. You are a person that has a lot of great, wonderful, winning qualities, and I think you like a challenge once in a while. Your reading says, though, that you find it so easy to commit and be responsible to the people or situations in your life that you have to. It's kind of like your upbringing. Your upbringing said, this is it, this is what you have to tend to, now do it. However, there are certain people that you're getting fed up with who seem to not follow that same train of thought, who can be just downright thoughtless. Your reading says, physically in the past, you felt as if you were somehow, and I don't know whether you were emotionally taking in certain um, anger issues or certain qualities about your life that were shutting you down. But it says you are the victor. You will climb out of this. You are the winner. And you will start to see this coming as soon as May. By June and July, you are seen surrounded by more money, possible work changes, and a feeling that you are definitely doing much, much better. It says the last thing you want is for the world to suddenly put boundaries up about letting you in. But I also feel that sometimes what your world needs is a few more boundaries. Maybe that's the same as taking your bitch pill. Your reading says that one of the things you hate to see happen is people in your family or any kind of um, people that you love go into confusion and despair, and that a part of you, in your passionate nature, to try to fix the wrong and express yourself and be there in such a committed and awesome way, needs to remember that you can actually make people stronger if you let them deal with their own crap. So your reading is saying victory is yours. May and June look very good for you. There seem to be some physical issues in the past that were really getting you down. But your reading says as you let go of emotional dysfunction, or as you let go of emotional anger, you begin to see that everything around you clears up, like attracts like. And so your reading is saying that you don't want to be seen as someone that is cold or negative or unpleasant. But it says actually there's enough turmoil going on around you where it's time for you to screen out the losers and bring in the winners. And I think you should do this with a great passion, and you will notice that it kind of jump starts your future into a very positive way, because I see such good things happening for you in May and June, career-wise, financially. I think that 2018 and the next 12 months, you're going to see more physical strength. And I don't know if you have a daughter or someone female close to you in your life, a good friend, but by allowing yourself to do less for this person, you are actually going to make them do more for themselves. So less is more. You're going to see that by taking your bitch pill, or by not being such a great person that always stands up for yourself and everybody else around you in the kind of the diplomatic way, I think you're going to find that in the long run, you are much happier, much stronger. And that's what I see.
Oh, that's fabulous. And the physical issue has been getting me down, and I am working towards getting somebody to help work on me, like I asked
Yeah.
you last week about that.
Oh, yeah, orthobiotomy we were talking about, which I
Well,
spelled.
I have, yes. So far, nobody told me about that. I'm asking, I think I'm going to ask one of my friends to check out for that for me. A chiropractor called me today, and I talked to someone else for another chiropractor, and then I'm going to mention it to my girlfriend, because I did mention it to a chiropractor, but they didn't let me know if they knew of somebody that was really good.
Well, people are funny like that. They don't like psychics don't like to send you to other psychics, and and I'm sure that chiropractors don't want other people taking their business. So asking somebody that is related to a healing business, some people don't take well to it.
Then I'll ask
And
my
it's
friend to do it instead, because she's not in
yeah,
either field.
okay, well that's good. So that's what I see, and I would say that it's going to be a very good year for you. And um, anything else that you can think of that you want to talk about?
Oh, there's a million things. Um, am I going to? I've been getting invitations from some of my friends. I said yes to a couple things that I think would be fun. How do you think that's going to go? Once in May the 10th, especially that one, because it's going to be from 8 in the morning to 6 at night, and then we're either going to clothes shopping or go to dinner. So that's going to be something I haven't done in a long time. I used to do
Oh,
that all the
fun,
time.
fun. So when is that going to be?
And May
Which
10th. Uh,
May 10th.
yeah,
So how?
I'm asking for my physical because this is something new for my physical right now.
I show it'll go amazing for you. I'm shown that without even having to do anything spectacular to do your hair or anything, you just need to relax and let it happen because it looks as if with the least amount of effort, and you will also have less anxiety. So just allowing to yourself to go with the flow, it'll trigger a whole great weekend for you. So go for it. It looks great.
Oh, I'm so happy. It's
I
something I need.
I think that this is just going to be a phenomenal year for you, and that's all I got to say about it.
Well, that's something right there to say it's phenomenal.
All
Because
right, honey.
I
Well,
said this year I'm celebrating my birthday. I never celebrated it for many years.
Oh, this is for
This
your
year I think it's.
birthday.
Oh no, no, it's not
Wow.
my birthday. It's not my birthday in May, but my birthday is in the summer. But I said this year I'm celebrating my birthday because every time it comes up, I said I'm not celebrating it because I'm still the way I still was physically. Right now, as I start to improve and I go out again and everything, and I start living my life like I used to, then yes, I'm celebrating.
Sounds good to me. Hey, I am so glad that you stopped by, and thank you so much.
And thank you. It was a wonderful reading, many blessings, and I really loved it.
Thank you, baby girl. Take care.
You too.
All right. Hey, 10 reasons why you're seeing angel signs, guys. Do you want to know? Well, many people around the world are seeing angel signs, especially during crucial moments of their lives. And gosh knows, between the gluten diets and the rashes that we were discussing today, and the politics and the anger in the world, it says maybe some of these signs are trying to talk to you. But do you know the reasons why you are seeing angel signs? And what are the angels trying to tell you with the signs that they are giving you? Thing is clear. We're living in a world of separation where we feel alone and disconnected. But this is just an illusion. Because just like, Renee, sometimes it's just a matter of saying yes and not holding up and allowing ourselves to feel alone and sad and getting out there. The truth is, we are at all times helped and assisted by spiritual beings from higher realms. And some people call them angelic beings, guardian angels, or simply angels. And these high vibrational beings, I know a lot of people will sometimes, can you please tell me what my angel's name is? And I keep wanting to say, well, I would not name your animal. I would not name your pet gerbil or your pet dog or your cat. And please understand that angels are of such high vibration that whether you name them or not, their presence in your life is not going to be influenced by a name. It influences you by feeling more comfortable by giving it a name. So, what are the most frequent angel signs there are? Well, angels communicate with us in many different patterns, like, okay, we've all heard 1111 and 444 are the first signs that an angel may be trying to communicate with you. Okay, how about feathers? I love the idea of feathers, finding them in places where they are not commonly found. How about coins and pennies? Finding pennies dimes or other shiny coins is an angel's way of telling you to keep going. Have faith. Everything will work out fine. So think about that next time that you find a beautiful penny or dime shining in the street or in your house. It's your angel saying, hey, it's going to be all right. We can't forget rainbows. Seeing them without the presence of rain, it's a clear angel sign. How about feelings of being touched? Experiencing touch and a tingling sensation down the spine or parts of your body is a sign that high vibrational beings are communicating with you. How about scents? Smelling pleasant aromas, especially from flower scents that are randomly coming from nowhere, may also be signs your angels are trying to communicate with you. And how about flashes of light? Seeing flashes of sparkles of light in the corner of your eye is a clear sign that angelic beings are close by. So, there are other ways which angels may be communicating with you as well. For instance, when you get a brilliant idea as a download of information from nowhere, you simply have that sense of knowing of what you meant and what you are meant to do next. Because angels are around you all the time. And they make their presence felt whenever you need them the most for support and guidance. Now, here are the 10 most common reasons why you are seeing angel signs. You are having an awakening. One clear reason why you are seeing angel signs is that you're awakening and becoming more conscious of yourself and your journey. When this happens, your frequency raises and you are able to tune in to higher dimensional beings. In this case, your guardian angels want to tell you this is a significant time for you to become your true self. How about you just need guidance? The reason for seeing angel signs is that you need guidance and that your angelic guides are here for you. Their messages are telling you that you are always assisted throughout your journey. You just need to ask for their help. Or how about you don't trust your journey? When you're in disbelief that this is the right path for you in life, or whether you've made the right decision, seeing angel signs is a clear indicator that you need to trust how your life unfolds. Well, here's one. You just plain feel lonely. Another reason why you may be seeing angel signs is that you have a false belief that you're completely alone and helpless. Your angels want to tell you the exact opposite. You need protection. Guardian angels are here to help clear you to remember the divine nature of you and your being. You carry the sparks of your Creator's flame within you. Trust yourself just a little bit more and know that your experience on earth was planned to help your soul grow. And how about you need healing? Your guardian angels are always helping you tune in with your true self and follow your path. You'll know when the path is not right, when you feel disconnected in life. Whenever you need help, you will get signs to help you find the easier path. For this, one sometimes just needs to heal old wounds when taking another path. Take your time. Listen to your angels. You are in tune with your true self. Bye. Thank you.
Psychic radio, holistic radio, spiritual radio. This is achieveradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/